Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Good afternoon, everyone. Previous week we talked about 4 variations, right? 4 variations. So I think variations are very important because we are always talking, we are always associating with the people, right? It is important to watch out, right? Our variation. Then this is a very beautiful sutta. Abhya Raja Kumara Sutta, Majjhima Nikaya, Sutta number 58. Abhya, Prince Abhya, he is the son of King Bimbisara, and he is disciple of Nikanda Nadapoda, you know, the founder of Jainism. And when Prince Abhya visited Nikanda, and Nikanda suggested that you go and meet with the Gautama Buddha and debate with him. So he teach the way he should do. So when you meet with the Gautama Buddha, you ask the question, do you talk unwelcome and disagreeable speeches? So he will say yes or no, right? Only 2 yes or no's. If he say yes, that means taught to him that you are no different with the ordinary people. Ordinary people also say unwelcome and unpleasant speeches, right? You also speak. You are not holy person. But if he say no, that means he is lying. The reason is he said to Devadatta. As you all know that Devadatta creates schism in the Sangha and make a lot of problem. So the Buddha taught to Devadatta. So you accumulated a lot of hideous crimes. You will go to hell. So by hearing that, Devadatta is not happy, right? Not happy. So that means the Buddha used very, very strong and also unpleasant and unwelcome speeches to Devadatta, right? So if he say no, that means he is lying. If he say yes, you can say that you are not holy person, no different with the ordinary person, right? Then Prince Abhya agreed to do that. So on that day, he visited Veluvana monasteries where the Buddha was staying. So by that time, the Buddha was preaching a big crowd. Then after finished preaching, it is too late, right? Maybe one of the reasons is he is afraid to debate in the monasteries. For that reason, he invited the Buddha. Buddha, please come to my house for lunch, together with the 3 or 4 monks. Not so many. Do not bring so many monks. Maybe he's afraid. So the next day, the Buddha visited with the 2 or 3 monks, and after donating food to the Buddha with the respectfully by himself, Prince Abhya asked the question taught by his teacher. the Buddha, do you say awakened and disagreeable speeches? The Buddha said that. In your question, I cannot say right away, so I cannot say one-sided answer. I cannot say ekansa bhyakaraniya in Pali, ekansa bhyakaraniya. So I cannot answer your question right away, right? But actually in Buddhism we have the Buddha talk about 4 types of questions, right? Some question need to answer right away, yes or no, right? Some question need to ask the question to the listener, to the questioner, right? By asking question, so in this way need to clarify, right? Another question is the question how to say, no need to answer, right? So the question, people will ask the question and the Buddha will not say anything, right? Just leave it as it is, because sometimes some questions are very tricky, so you cannot say yes or no, right? Yes or no. So actually normally we always give example. Bhikkhu Nyanamoli give a very beautiful example between husband and wife, right? Husband and wife. I will ask the husband, did you beat your wife last night? Did you beat your wife last night? No, right? No. That means you beat your wife other night? Huh? You cannot answer yes or no, right? Very tricky question. Very tricky question. So there are some questions like this in Pali Canon. We have 10 questions, right? 10 or 16, I forgot. Okay, I need to check. Actually, I think these are very important. Maybe when we are learning dependent originations, I think if I remember, I will touch on that, because these are connected with the soul theory, and also not only soul theory but also mostly are related to the soul theory, right? Just like that. Is the body soul? You cannot say yes or no, right? Is how about the mind? You cannot say yes or no, right? Like this. So there are some questions very tricky. So here the Buddha said that for this question, for your question, I cannot say one-sided answer. So Prince Abhaya is very, very happy to hear that. He thought that the Buddha would say yes or no, but the Buddha didn't say yes or no. Here the Buddha used ekansa bhyakaraniya by asking question, right? By asking question. So by that time, a young baby is sleeping on his lap, right? On his lap. And the Buddha asked the question, suppose your baby swallowed the stick of pepper, what will you do? If you take out stick from his mouth, you'll be crying a lot, right? Very painful. Very painful. So the Prince Abhaya answered the question. Actually, if my baby swallows stiff, I have to take out, right? If I cannot take out easily, then I will hold the head of my baby with one hand, then I will take it out, right? Even if it draw blood, right? It draw blood. It was very painful for the baby, but why he is doing that? And the Prince Abhaya said that because auto compassion, right? If I do not take out the stiff or pepper from the mouth of my baby, so it will be very serious problem, right? Serious problem. Even if he is crying, even if it draws blood, so we have to take it out. Why? The Buddha asked. because of compassion and loving kindness toward my baby, right? And the Buddha said that just like that. And the Buddha also sometimes speak unwelcome and disagreeable speeches. The reason is out of compassion, right? Sometimes the Buddha may use very strong speeches, just like to venerable Devadatta, right? Devadatta. Actually, there are many examples as well. So sometimes the Buddha use very strong word. So to let them know what they are doing is very serious, right? Very serious. They don't have to do it, right? So one of the examples is one of the men called Sati, and he believed that soul, actually he doesn't use the word atta or atman, he just used vijnana. This vijnana go from life after another, right? One life after another. Even though he used the word vijnana, but we are using all the time, right? Even though he used the word vijnana, but he believed that there is a type of vijnana that lasts forever, that cannot die, that lasts permanently, right? So that vijnana move to one life to another. If you die this life, so that vijnana left, right, and moved to another life. So actually this is a soul theory, right? Soul theory. For that reason the Buddha examined, what do you mean by vijnana? Then the Buddha cross-questioned. But it is the theory, soul theory, right? Soul theory. For that reason the Buddha said, Moga Purisa, hollow man, good for nothing. Moga Purisa, very strong. Useless, right? Useless person. So the Buddha used such a very strong word. So the reason is the theory of soul theory is very dangerous in our practice, in higher practice, right? And normal day-to-day life stay okay, but if you want to follow Four Noble Truths, if you want to understand dependent originations, soul theory is very serious, right? Very serious. Actually, I share one time here. So when Dalai Lama was asked, one of the Christian priests asked Dalai Lama, can you explain emptiness? So Dalai Lama said, no, none of your business. None of your business. Don't ask me. So the reason is the idea of emptiness, the teachings of emptiness, totally different from the idea of God, Creator God, right? If Dalai Lama answer the meaning of emptiness, and Christian priest, he will lose his faith to the God. For that reason he said, no, none of your business. very serious, right? So actually the emptiness and theory of soul, right? But in Buddhism there's the emptiness, there's no permanent soul, no permanent entity, right? So what I mean is the Buddha condemned by using a very strong word to sati, right? Sati, because it's very serious, right? Sometimes, of course, the Buddha said that sometimes the Buddha used unwelcome and disagreeable speeches. Why? The reason is out of compassion and loving kindness, right? In the case of Devadatta, but of course Devadatta may not like it, but it benefit for sasana, for other people, right? Don't do like him. If you do like him, then you will have to face all these problems like this, right? And very serious. So the Buddha have to use unwelcome and disagreeable speeches sometime, right? And this sutta is very important. Abhya Raja Kumara Sutta, 6 types of speech. The Tathagata utters only 2 types of speech out of 6. Only 2 types of speech out of 6. Normally we are using 6 types of speech. One of them, right? But the Buddha used only 2, right? But we can follow, right? We can follow the footsteps of the Buddha. So the Buddha used only 2 types of speech, and we also have to follow the Buddha footsteps, right? So in this way, we become like a Buddha, right? Like a Buddha. So here the Tathagata utters only 2 types of speech out of 6, right? Number 3 and number 6, right? Actually, in Sutta study class, we are studying this Sutta. I have already shared, right? So then we have to repeat next Thursday. Sometime after teaching Abhidhamma class, teaching and Sutta class, not very, how to say, it's just repeating. It's not very good for speakers. Repeating after 1 year is okay. Repeating after 1 month is something, the listener, they are not interested. They already hear, right? So anyway, I think benefit repetition and I say listening again, right? Number 1, some speeches are not truth, right? And not beneficial, not pleasant to others, right? I think this is the best, the worst speech, right? The worst speeches. Not truth, they create a story which is not truth, also not beneficial for them, not beneficial for the listener, and also it's not pleasant to hear. Not pleasant to hear, right? So the Tathagata does not utter such one, right? We also shouldn't speak such one, right? Not true, not beneficial, not pleasant to others, right? Number 2, it is truth. What you say is truth, number 1. But it's not beneficial and not pleasant to hear. And then that is very important. Even though it is truth, if it is not beneficial, not pleasant to the listeners, we shouldn't control, right? We should control our mouth, right? We should control our mouth. Sometimes you have a revenge, or sometimes you have anger. What you know is truth, truth about that person, right? But you know that by talking what you know, it's not beneficial, not pleasant to hear. So we have to control, right? We have to control. Sometimes we want to do it, especially out of anger, right? Out of anger. But you will give an excuse that what I've been talking is truth. Actually, based on the truthfulness, right? Actually, even though truth is not beneficial, not pleasant to hear, right? I think such what we normally say out of anger. So we have to control our mouth not to speak such a one. Number 3. Number 1, it is truth. Number 2, it's beneficial for the speaker and listeners, but unpleasant to others. So just like that, the Buddha taught to Bhikkhu Sati, right? Monk Sati, and the Buddha taught to Devadatta, right? So when you study Vinaya Pitaka, there are many examples, right? So the Buddha normally use Mokkha Bodhisattva, and there are many other terms, right? Asacca Bodhi, right? So these are not welcoming, not pleasant to hear. When the Buddha was talking to Bhikkhu Sati, he was listening, his head like this. He's not happy to hear, right? But number 1, what the Buddha taught is truth. Number 2, what the Buddha taught is beneficial for the sasana, for the other monks, right? For that reason, the Buddha used truth, beneficial, right? But even though it is true, even though it is beneficial, the most important thing is timing. Here also, timing is very important, right? Even though it is true, it is beneficial, the Buddha evaluate a good timing, right? Whether it is a good time or untimely, right? A bad time, right? Bad time. So the Tathagata knows the time to use such speech, right? So when we are last week we talk about 5 criteria of a good speech, right? So the first one is timely, a good timing, right? For that reason, it's important. Timely, I think knowing the time is number 1, mindfulness, and number 2, wisdom. Combination of 2, right? We have to be mindful, and we have to think carefully whether it is a good time or bad time, right? So the Buddha used such one, number 3, right? Especially number 3 is very important for the leaders, for those who want to become a leaders, especially for the parents, right? Parents and teachers. So they have to use sometimes unpleasant speeches to the listener, right? Some people are afraid to talk, right? So they don't want other people like them, does not like them, right? For that reason, they practice silence, right? Even though it is true, even though it is beneficial, they are not telling openly. They close their mouth, right? I think it's not true. It's not the way what the Buddha taught. Of course, every speech must come from out of compassion, metta, right? Loving kindness. Am I not loving kindness? So among the 5 criteria, right? The last one is, am I not loving kindness? Must come from loving kindness. Even though what you say is very strong and unpleasant to hear, it must be truth and beneficial. Then you have to speak out, right? Speak out. So for that reason, a good leader, so they will speak out openly, right? Even though they will lose their reputation, even though they lost their fame, right? So they will stay do that. Number 3, right? Very important for the parents, teachers, and the leader of the country, and the leader of the community, right? It's very important. Otherwise, so I think there will be a lot of problems, right? Number 4, untruth, unbeneficial, but pleasant to others. Normally, we like to talk. Number 4, right? We want to talk normally. It's not true, not beneficial for both speaker and listener, but pleasant to hear, right? The listener also like it. Just like an idle chatter, right? Just like an idle chatter. We are talking chit-chat, no end, right? Just like a parrot, right? Some people talking. They don't have any particular purpose, right? From one subject to another, they're jumping, one subject to another, right? Jumping. So some of them may not be truth, right? And beneficial, but pleasant to hear, right? Pleasant to hear. Just like a joke, right? Just like a joke, telling joke, right? Number 5, it is truth, but not beneficial, right? It is true, not beneficial, and pleasant to hear. So I think that if you, after learning all these one, we can make conclusion that number 1 must be truth, number 2 must be beneficial, right? And number 3, timing. So we have to look at 3 criteria, right? 3 criteria. But when we are talking about in another sutta, Buddha talk about 5 criteria, right? 5 criteria. But we can summarize only 3, right? Must be truth, must be beneficial, and must be a good timely, right? 3. But here, even though it is truth, not beneficial, right? Not beneficial. Sad news. the information that you have, right? It is truth, right? It is truth, and people like it, right? People like it. Just like in the Western country, there is a paparazzi, right? Paparazzi. They normally follow celebrities, and they find out it's their secret things, right? It is truth. It is truth. People want to hear, right? People want to hear. People like it, right? So, but it's not beneficial, right? It's not really beneficial. So even though we know the secrets of those celebrities, what is the point, right? What is the point? So, but this is the human nature. We like it, right? Especially paparazzi and journalists, right? So they want to uncover, or they want to uncover the secrets of celebrity, right? But by seeing, by reading, the secret of celebrity is no use, right? We cannot do anything. But human behavior, we want to know it, right? We want to know it. So normally the Buddha do not taught such one, right? Even though it is truth, people like it, but not beneficial, right? Not beneficial. And the last one is, number one, it is truth. Number two, beneficial. Number three, pleasant to hear. And three characteristics, right? Pleasant to hear, three characteristics. Even though truth, beneficial, pleasant to hear, the Buddha knows the time, right? To speak such a one. Here, timing also very important. Timing is very important. The Buddha look at the timing, right? So there are many stories that the Buddha was waiting a good time, right? To teach the Dhamma. There are many cases, right? There are many cases. One of them is the Vaikali, right? Vaikali. Bhikkhu Vaikali, he left the Buddha. He went to see the Buddha all the time, right? Wherever the Buddha go, he will follow, right? The Buddha knew that it's not good, right? It's not good. But the Buddha was waiting the time. Suddenly, the Buddha went to Rajagaha. By the time the Buddha was staying in Savatthi, then the Buddha take a long trip, 200 kilometers, Rajagaha. By that time, Vaikali is ill, right? Gravely ill. The Buddha is taking a long trip. If he follow, he will die halfway. But cannot do. For that reason, he have to stay back, right? The Buddha went to Rajagaha. But Vaikali cannot stand, right? He went to see the Buddha. For that reason, with the help of his fellow monks, he followed the Buddha, even though he is seriously ill, right? So when Vaikali arrived Rajagaha, he even couldn't come to Viluwana monasteries. But the Buddha have to go there, right? The Buddha preached a very famous Dhamma, right? Your Dhammam Pasati, Somam Pasati. Who understand the Dhamma sees me, right? Just trying to understand the Dhamma. You will see the Buddha, right? You will see what kind of person the Buddha is, right? Of course, if you become Sotapanna, you will see very clearly, right? You will see very clearly. And you will have an unwavering faith to the Buddha. There is no such a teacher in the world other than the Buddha, right? So what I want to say is, the Buddha is waiting the time, right? The Buddha just preached timely speeches, right? Timely speeches. So that is very important. Even though it is truth, beneficial and pleasant to hear, need to wait time, right? Need to wait a good timing. So I think by looking at all the 6 types of speeches, I think 2 are very important. 3 are very important. Must be truth, must be beneficial, must be timely, right? Timely. Then only we should speak. But sometimes we need to tell the people the speeches that are not pleasant to hear. They will not like it. They will definitely will not like it, right? But we have to speak. The reason is out of compassion. Must speak out of compassion, right? But even though truth, beneficial, is timely, but if you're talking out of anger, inner hate, also not good. So we have to look at earlier soda, right? Earlier soda must come from, must be a minor, must speak a minor loving kindness, right? Minor loving kindness. So these are 6 types of speech. Out of 6, the Buddha taught only 2, right? Only 2. Any question? Okay. Yeah, yes.
What you mentioned earlier regarding the speech may be it's not beneficial, right? But then it's pleasant, it's true. But then the non-beneficial depends on party. Now the Theravada or the journalists who circulate this sort of news, it increases the circulation to this paper. So investigation do benefits. Yeah, do benefits.
They benefit.
Yes.
How about the reader?
The reader to get the human being for his source of news. Or whether intrinsic value, possibly maybe not. The superficial source doesn't have to hear. Right? So the benefit depends on which part of the image. As well as the journalism right now, and create good news, and the good circulation, and good sales, and the promotion, and the bonus. Maybe it could be wrong, and good also. But then in real life,
I think it's a good point.
These are the things that we have to face in reality.
Yeah. Good point. Truth, pleasant to hear, but not beneficial, right? I think it's a different dimension. Of course, we have to look at both sides, especially the listener side, right? So you are just speaker. If benefit to the listener, of course it should be okay, right? But you increase your circulation, right? The copy of the newspaper, right? You can increase benefit for you, but by the reader will read the story. It takes a lot of time. If they do not get anything from the story, right? I think we can consider it as not good, right? Not good. For that reason, the Buddha didn't talk. Truth, beneficial. I think beneficial is one of the characteristics, right? Actually, our intention should be, so we have to focus on the listeners, right? Listener must benefit from our speech, right? From our speech. Question? Okay. Sorry? Apaya Raja. Apaya Raja. Sorry, Kumara. Okay, thank you for. Okay, I will find it out. Kumara is a prince. Oh, sorry, Kumara is a young man. Raja is a king, right? Raja Kumara means prince. Actually, in Sri Lanka, India, they have a lot of names. Kumar, right? Raja Kumar or Kumar comes from Kumara. Right? Kumar. Okay, so here I want to touch white lie, right? White lie. Normally, white lie is very common. So here, white lie means it's not truth, right? It's not truth. It's not truth. But it's beneficial to the listeners, right? And also, welcome to hear, pleasant to hear. Suppose your mother is gravely ill, right? Gravely ill. So she has, she's going to die, right? Going to die. Her son lives in the United States. So they informed to come back, right? But her son haven't bought a ticket yet, right? Then the mother asks, where is my son? Where is my son? And the daughter answered, she is on the way. He is on the way. He is on the way. Actually, he even haven't bought a ticket yet. There's a white line, right? It's not truth, but beneficial, right? So the mother, the dying mother, he liked it, and he went to hear, right? He went to hear. So I think these are white lines. So there are many other things as well, right? Many other things as well. So you might say you are beautiful, even though you are ugly. Normally it happens in social media. So when people post a picture, they will always say, very lovely. You became elegant. Like this, right? These are white lines.
So is white line great precepts?
Sorry?
Precept itself is having one advice will break the precept, one of the five precepts for speech.
Very good question. I think, but of course, telling lie, see, I think that is a break precept. But of course, under the name of telling lie is a breaking precept. But there are a lot of things, right? Number one, beneficial to the listeners. Number two, they like it, right? They like it. So we have to compare. So by telling white lie, I think you might accumulate both, right? Both good and bad. Both good and bad. I will say that, right? Say that. So here I want to share a very important message here. So here, skillfulness in teachings. In Mahayana, it's very common. Upaya Kosana. Actually, I can't pronounce how they pronounce. Mahayana, they use this word very often. Upaya Kosana, or I don't know. Very common. Skillfulness in teaching, right? If you just look at on surface level, it looks like the Buddha is lying, telling lie. But actually it's not. Actually it's not. So for that reason, when you are using a white line, so we have to use skillfulness in teaching, right? Skillfulness in teaching. So in this way, you can avoid breaking precept. I think you can avoid breaking precept. Later, I will I want to, before I talk about this, I want to share one of the, I will give you one story. I think many of you know that Casey, right? Horse trainer. Casey, horse trainer. So he is famous for horse training, right? People, when they want to train their horse, so they will give it to Casey, horse trainer. He will train the horse, right? Even though a wild horse became, it became very gentle and also very tame, right? Very tame. So one day, Casey, horse trainer, visited the Buddha. The Buddha asked the question, Casey, you are famous for trainer of horse, right? You can tame horses. Very famous for that, right? Which method you use to train the horses? And Casey said that I use gentle method. For some horses, I will use gentle method. But if I cannot tame that horse in a gentle way, I will use harsh method, right? Harsh method, by beating, right? By slapping, like this. So the Buddha said that if you cannot train the horse either gentle way or harsh way, what will you do? The Casey said that I kill the horse. I kill the horse. Why? The reason is, if I cannot train that horse both way, both gentle and harsh way, and my fame will be tarnished as a teacher, right? So I kill, right? Then I will inform the horse owner, I kill your horse because your horse is useless, right? Cannot train, cannot tame or cannot train, right? Then Kesi asked the question, Buddha, you are famous for Buddhisa Dhamma Sarati, the trainer of, the tamer of both men and devas. Buddhisa Dhamma Sarati, right? You can tame the people, you can tame the deva, you can tame the Brahma. Which method do you use? The Buddha used. Sometimes I use the gentle way, gentle method. Sometimes I use harsh method. So what is gentle method? So gentle method means do good things. If you do good things, you can go to heaven, you can become Brahma, you can attain Nibbana, right? But what is harsh method? Don't do all these unwholesome actions. Don't do unwholesome deeds. If you do so, you will go to hell. That's harsh, right? People doesn't want hell and awful destinations, right? So if you are doing all these unwholesome actions, you will go to hell. It's very harsh, right? Very hard. The Kesi hot trainer said that the Buddha, if you cannot tame the person both ways, what will you do? The Buddha said, I kill that person. The Buddha said, I kill that person. So Kesi became surprised, right? The Buddha, you are not supposed to kill that person. You always say Paranipada, right? To refrain from Paranipada. And the Buddha said that Kesi, killing in Buddhism means we ignore the person. We regard that person. That person should not be treated as the one who should be tamed, right? Right? So the Buddha used that method. Ignoring the person, and the Buddha regard the person as the one who cannot train, right? So consider as the killing in Buddhism, right? Killing in Buddhism. But here if you just read the first paragraph, I kill him or I kill her, that means the Buddha is telling lie. Look like the Buddha is telling lie, right? Normally the Buddha will not kill, right? So the Buddha used this one, skillfulness in teaching, right? The Buddha is very skillful. So we have many examples. Look at the story of Angulimala, right? So even though the Buddha is walking, so when Angulimala asks, stop, the Buddha says, I have stopped. But actually the Buddha is walking. So Angulimala think that this monk is telling lie. So actually, in those days, as a religious person, telling a lie is very serious, right? For that reason, even though the Buddha is walking, but he say, I have stopped. But it look like Angulimala thinks is telling a lie, right? But the Buddha used skillfulness in teachings. The reason is the Buddha already eradicate all the defilements in his mind. So in that way, the Buddha stopped samsara. He will not have any rebirth next life. In that way, stop. But in his mind, I think in the minds of the Buddha used, right? Skillfulness in teaching. The Buddha, when the Buddha said, I stop, that means he stopped samsara, right? He stopped samsara. Sometimes, so when you want to tell lie, you're giving a guideline. Sometimes you have to tell lie, right? White lie. So when you tell white lie, you have to keep it in your mind, right? Skillfulness in teachings. skillfulness in speaking, right? Skillfulness in speaking. Then I will take that example, right? That example. So the son happened bought a ticket, right? But he will definitely will come back to Singapore, but the mother is going to die tonight. Definitely the son will not come, right? But when you are talking, he is coming, right? He is coming. It's not telling lie. No, yeah, it's not telling lie. But if you say he is on the way, it can be a white lie, but in your mind, when you think, he will definitely will come. He is on the process, right? He is trying. By thinking in that way in your mind, I think you can avoid breaking precept. Very thin, right? Very thin.
So in a way, it encourages speak wisely.
Yeah. Here, skillfulness, right? Wisely, very beautiful, I think. Then I will give you another. I will take the same example. Even though, how to say, the girl is not beautiful, ugly, then you can say beautiful, right? So, but in your mind, when you are using the word beautiful, you are not indicating the appearance. You are indicating the mind, right? But in your mind, when you are telling beautiful, but in your mind you refer to the mind, right? But the listener will think you are talking about her appearance, right? So I think it's the way and skillfulness in speaking. So just like the Buddha too, we can use it, right? What do you think? There is a famous one. Two guys are driving. Two guys are driving, and one of the guys look at a pedestrian who is a teacher, and he said, "You are beautiful." The teacher looked at, "I'm very happy." Actually, the teacher is not beautiful, very ugly. The guy who is driving surprisingly asks, "Why you're talking? You're beautiful. It's very ugly. Why you said that?" Then this guy explained, "Think about it. After hearing you are beautiful, so that teacher was very happy. I'm sure that today he will not blame, he will not yell at his student today. Her students, right? Because she has a good mind at the time. You know? A good mood. In a good mood. Because she heard that she is beautiful, right? So in the eyes of other people, she also knows that she is not. But on that day, she might think that, wow, there is one person who say I'm beautiful, right? Became very happy the whole day, right? So the whole day she will not be angry to her students, right? She will not be angry to her family, right? Like this. So actually the guy is very, how to say, of course white lie, right? White lie. But we don't know what he's thinking at the time, right? So you are beautiful, that means not only appearance, right? We can indicate the mind as well, right? The mind as well. Of course, by that time, must be very honest, right? Must be very honest. Most people are not honest, right? Not honest. When this is something, right? Well, people like it. People like, so when they are praised, right? When they are praised, people like it. But also, they also know whether you are honest or dishonest, right? So here, I think if we practice skillfulness in our speech, right? I think we can avoid breaking the breaking the sila, right? Breaking the sila. It's not truth, but beneficial and welcome to hear, right? But we have to, we have to think very carefully. When we are talking white lie all the time, if the listener discover, they will not believe you. It's very, very dangerous, right? Very dangerous. For that reason, even the white line the Buddha do not use. But the Buddha use skillfulness in teaching, right? Skillfulness. The Buddha is not telling line to Angulimala, but to teach, right? And the Buddha use a wise wisdom, right? A wisdom. Okay, I want to share two stories. The story of Yasa and his father. So the Buddha preached Dhammacakka Bodhana, the first sermon, to a group of 5 months. Then after listening the first sermon, they became Sotapanna, and the Buddha preached second sermon, Nattalakkhana Sutta, right? Then after hearing second sermon, they became Arahant, right? So at that moment, one of the rich men, the son of rich man called Yasa. You know, they have a mature parami, perfection, right? So they have accumulated a lot of perfection or parami in their previous life, right? So at that moment, the son of the rich man called Yasa, he became disgusted and became fed up with all the enjoyment, right? So the earlier time he was enjoying, right? He has 3 houses, one for rainy season, one for the cold season, one for the hot season. A lot of attendance, a lot of guests, right? He's enjoying his life, but on that particular day, he fed up with all these enjoyment. Then he decided to renounce all these when going alone. He want to look at the purpose of life, the aim of life. For that reason, he renounced nighttime and go straight to Isipatana, where the Buddha was staying. The Buddha knew that he is coming, and for that reason, he was waiting. It's early in the morning. So the Buddha was waiting, sitting under the tree. Yes, sir, there is no purpose where to go, right? So just he is complaining, where the purpose of life, right? Where the purpose of life? And when the Buddha hear that, then I can answer you the purpose of life. The yes, sir, surprised, right? Now he met a person who say, right? The essence of life he can get, right? Then the Buddha preached the sermon, and Yasa became Sotapanna. Right? And the Buddha gave a further teachings, and by that time, Yasa is contemplating what the Buddha taught by sitting nearby the Buddha. He already became a bhikkhu, right? A bhikkhu. So he was meditating nearby the Buddha. So by that time, so when in the morning they find out that their son is not here, not in the house, right? So all the family, they worry and they want to find out different places, right? So yes, father, he chose to go to Isipatana, that side, right? So he saw the Buddha, and he is asking the Buddha, did you see one of the young men wear in such a way, like that, in such a way, right? And the Buddha said this one, where Hausura, sit down. As you know, he's very worried, right? Very worried. They just want to find out, right? His son. He is restless, right? Restless. But the Buddha said, where Hausura, sit down. But he cannot sit down, right? But the Buddha said that if you sit down here, you might see your son. Oh, I forgot to tell one thing. So the Buddha knew that his father is coming, and the Buddha create a miracle, perform a miracle in such a way that the yasa cannot be seen by her son, by his son, or by his father. The Buddha performed a miracle, supernatural power, in such a way that his father cannot see yasa, right? Cannot see yasa. For that reason, when his father approached the Buddha, he asked, "Did you see the young man, right, in this appearance?" Well, of course, the Buddha should say yes. But the Buddha didn't say, "Well, Hausura, sit down." If you sit down here, you might see your son. Actually, the use is very important. You might see your son. It's not a telling line, right? It's not a telling line. But the Buddha did not answer the question directly, right? Directly. The Buddha used skillfulness in teaching, right? He want to teach. Sit down. If you sit down here, you might see your son. You know, he is looking for his son. For that reason, the rich man think that, wow, if I sit down here, I might see, maybe my son is around here. For that reason, he sit down, and the Buddha preached the sermon, and his father became sort of bad. Then only the Buddha performed another miracle to show his son. Actually, his son is sitting nearby, right? By listening the Dhamma taught to his father, the yasa became arahant. Yasa became arahant, right? So in that way, you know the Hausura became Sotapanna. So when he see his son, no longer worry, no longer feeling. Even he is happy, right? So he became the monk, a disciple of the Buddha, because he himself became Sotapanna, right? So here, I think what the Buddha used is skillfulness in teaching, very skillful, right? Very skillful. So this is from Vinaya Pitaka. For those who want to read the whole story, the book got displayed, right? Volume 4, page number 24. Right? You can read. Another story is the most famous one, story of Kisa Gautami, right? As you all know that Kisa Gautami is a very thin, I would say that ugly, a little bit ugly, I think. For that reason, and also poor, she's poor. She is selling in the market, selling charcoal, right? Charcoal. So she's very poor and very thin, a little bit ugly. One day, a rich man came to the market and looking for something that he want, right? But he saw a young lady, a thin lady, a very thin, we can call it not thin, lean, right? Lean, very, very skinny lady. So he saw a skinny lady, skinny girl, who is selling gold, right? Selling, what is it? Gold, like this. We normally we have a gold bar, right? Gold bar. Surprisingly, he saw a young girl, a skinny girl, who is selling gold bar in the market. But he separating all the gold bar on the ground, right? On the ground. Surprised. And he asked, why are you selling goba in the market like this? People will steal your goba, right? People will take it and run away. And skinny girl also surprised. Are you selling goba? Actually, she is selling charcoal. Charcoal. Because of the commentary said that because of her previous karma, all charcoal became goba. But she does not know. She does not know. But the rich man, he know it, right? For that reason, he's asking, why are you selling a very expensive goba here, right? And skinny girl also, for that reason, Kisa called me. Her name is called me. Kisa means skinny or lean, right? So, surprise. Then the rich man, the son of a rich man, and he believed that he has a lot of kusala, a lot of wholesome deed, right? For that reason, and he got married with a skinny and ugly girl, right? Ugly girl, because of the goba, right? Because of the goba. Maybe Kotika, right? The son of Imam is a Kotika. Kotika, right? So they got married, but because of her previous karma, her parents-in-law do not love her. Always complaining, always finding fault. So she's not happy, right? But so she also doesn't want to divorce, right? Divorce. The reason is if she divorce, no chance to get a husband again. So, but she practiced patience, right? Patience. One day, she pregnant, and she was born a young boy, a baby boy. So from that time onward, her parents-in-law loved her so much because of the baby boy, right? Baby boy. For that reason, the baby boy is her life, so she take care of her young boy, right? But one day, suddenly that boy died because of some diseases. Of course, she became hopeless, gone crazy. She's asking people, is there any cure for my dead son? Any cure for my dead son? And people say, no, your son dying cannot cure, right? That person cannot be cured. Then she go one place to another asking for cure for the death, right? But people, some people, how to say, driving her away. No, you are crazy. You are asking for the cure for the dead person. No way, right? No medicine. Even today, right? No medicines for the dead disease. The disease. So, but one time, she met a very wise man. She is asking, as usual, she is asking cure for the death. So the medicine for the death. So the wise man said that, I do not know the medicine for the death, but there is one person, there is one physician who might know the medicine for the death. Then she's very happy, right? Very happy. And he directed to Theravada monasteries, directed to the Buddha, right? Happily, with the full of hope, Kisa Gautami went to Theravada monasteries and go directly to the Buddha and asking, showing her dead son, right? Is there any medicine for my dead son? That is what the Kisa Gautami said. That's according to commentary, right? Bande, do you know the medicine for my dead son. What the Kisagorami said that. And the Buddha said, yes, I do. Yes, I do. So that means, is there any medicine? The Buddha himself died at the age of 80, right? All the disciples or the Buddha also died. No medicine, right? But here, the Buddha is saying, yes, I do. I have it. I have it. Do you think, is it a white lie? It is a white lie? What do you think? Because it's the Buddha, right? Taught by the Buddha. Special what, right? Special what? So, here, if we see the surface level, yes, I do. So there's no medicine for the dead person. But here the Buddha is saying, yes, that means a white line. But look at the story, right? So there is a conditions, right? Then go and get mustard seed. One mustard seed, right? She feel very happy, right? To get a one mustard seed, very very easy, right? She can get anywhere, and the Buddha said that. But that mustard seed must be the house where nobody died. So you have to ask whether their parents are still alive, right? And their brother, their sister, etc. Right? The mustard seed must be the house where the house from the house where there's nobody dying, right? Nobody dying. But of course, she is crazy, right? She does not know how to think. For that reason, very happy, and she right away went out to the houses asking for the mustard seed, right? I went to get mustard seed. So people give mustard seed, right? Then after taking, she asked, is there anyone who died in this house? Yes, my father died last year. My son died 20 years ago, like this, right? So then she threw away that mustard seed, moved to another house, asking mustard seed. So when she asked, is there anyone who died in this house? They will ask, right? One will, some of them will answer my father, some will answer my brother, like this, right? Now she began to realize death is inevitable, cannot avoid. She began to understand. That is medicine for her, right? That is medicine or the death, right? Medicine for the death or cure for the death. So she began to realize, and she threw her baby boy in the cemeteries, and she goes straight to the Buddha, and she became Bhikkhunis. At the end of the day, she became Arahant. Arahant, right? So when you want to read story of Kisagorami, then you can read Dhammapada, right? Dhammapada. The story of Dhammapada 114, right? 114. I think full story, you can read, if you want to read full story, go to library. If you want to read the summary of the story, you can read the book of Vīthimutta. So it's very beautiful, beautifully written, right? So this is when we know Bhante Kisagorami asks, Bhante, do you know the medicine for my dead son? Yes, I do. Here, actually, Ama Janami. This is a Pali, literal translation. Yes, I do. Right? Yes, I do. So that means, if we just look at this two lines, that means white line, right? But the Buddha is not indicating, right, the real medicine for the death. So the Buddha is giving the medicine for the Kisagodami, right? So she began to know that death cannot be avoided. So everyone will face death, right? One way or another. So therefore that is medicine for her. And she threw away her baby boy, became Bhikkhuni, right? Became Bhikkhuni. So her name is called Kisagodami. So we also have another Godami, Maha Pajapati Godami, right? Here is a Kisa. Kisa is the one skinny girl, right? Skinny girl. And we also have another Kisa Godami, the son of ministers in the Kapila Vatu, and she fall in love Siddhartha, right? So before Siddhartha renounced the palace at the age of 29, he was all the time deeply thinking, right? So when somebody see him, look like he's not happy. So Kisa Gautami think that Prince Siddhartha not happy because his wife Yasodhara is pregnant. For that reason, he's not happy. But he fall in love, right? He think that the minor Prince Siddhartha will come to her. Then she write poem, and he recited those poems, right? So when the Buddha come back from the garden, right? From the garden, he normally chant those poems, right? After hearing one of the poems, so the Buddha, the Prince Siddhartha, liked very much, the usage, the usage used in the poem, right? Nebuddha, the word Nebuddha, right? Nebuddha. So for that reason, he gave his necklace as a reward, right? And she did that. Prince Siddhartha fall in love her. But at the same night, Prince Siddhartha left the palace. So her name also Kisa Gautami, right? There's a two Kisa Gautami, but this one is the one we normally know it, right? We normally know. So for that reason, even when we're using tailing line, a white line, so I think we have to use how to say that? We have to use skillfulness in speech, right? Skillfulness in speech, right? Skillfulness in speech. So there are many examples, right? Many examples. Question? It depends on your motivation. It depends on your volition, right? So here, the Buddha motivation is not actually referring to literally. So the Buddha is referring to the medicine for the Kisa Gautami, right? Because of her son, so she depressed and became crazy, right? But then the Buddha gave the medicine for her death son. Killing, I will kill, right? Regarding with the Casey horse trainer, right? Regarding with the Casey horse trainer, I will give you the link. Where is? In Golden Nikaya, chapter 3, so the number 111. Easy to remember. Sorry, 4 or 5, 3 or 4, I forgot. 3 or one of them. Chapter 3 or 4. So it's a very good story, very good suttas. It talk about skillfulness in teaching, right? The Buddha is very skillful. Okay, up to now we have learned 3 unwholesome bodily actions and 4 unwholesome verbal actions, right? All these bodily and verbal actions come from our mind. For that reason, mind is forerunner. So the Buddha said that Chaitena niyati logo. So this world is niyati, how to say that, created by the mind. It's very important. This world is created by the mind. The same environment, some are happy, some are not happy. The same food, some are happy, some are not. The same clothes, the same quality of clothes, some are not happy, right? Some are happy. So we created, our mind created our world, right? The way we see, the way we hear, right? It's very important. Some people see half of the glass of the water. The water only half, right? For pessimistic, they will say, I don't have full of water in the glass. They do not see half of the water in the glass, right? Pessimistic. Optimistic, they say, I have half of the water, right? Half of the water. So it depends on the mind, right? The same half of the water. But a person take it that drinking water and drink it. We can call that person realistic. It depends on our mind, right? Pessimistic, they will say, I have only half of the water, right? But optimistic, I have half of the water, right? They do not complain. They appreciate what they have. But some people are very realistic. They drink it. Mind is the forerunner of everything. Our mind created, right? But the first verse of Dhamma, number 1, mind is forerunner of all phenomena, or everything. We can say that, everything. Mind is the chief, they are mind made. If one speaks or acts with the wicked mind, because of that, suffering follows one. But here, speaks me, we have a speeches, right? So because of the wicked mind, we will use 4 types of unwholesome speeches, right? Because of wicked mind, we will use 3 types of bodily actions, right? Everything based on the mind. For that reason, the Buddha said, Mano Pobingamma Dhamma. Mind is everything, right? Mind created. Just as we follow the hoofprints of the ox that draw the cart, right? And as a Singaporean, I don't know whether you know Pola cart. If you haven't been anywhere, you will not know it, right? For young people, especially young Singaporeans, they will not know it. This is an example, very can be seen nowadays, right? Polar cart is becoming rare and rare, right? Even in our village. So people, they sell their polar cart, they sell their ox, and they buy the machine. They buy the machine, began to change, right? Like Singapore, I think no polar cart, right? No polar cart. No, but you still have a cow, right? Cow. Only if you, is there any cow? Yes, cows. In the zoo.
What I Yes,
Fine. For the
professional.
yeah. There's no bulaka, right? No bulaka. Young people will not know it, right? Know it. For that reason, so we have to use a relevant simile. But second one, a second verse. If you are talking, if one speaks and one acts with the pure mind, the Buddha said, with the pure mind, because of that, happiness follows one. Pure mind, right? Pure mind. Just as our own shadow follow when we go. That is a specific, very relevant example. When we are going in the hot sun, right? Our own shadow follow. Just like that. So our own good and bad karma will follow, right? Will follow. So here, what I want to point out is the importance of the mind, right? Mind is forerunner. So we have three mental actions. For that reason, to understand three mental actions is very important, right? Based on that, we are performing wholesome, unwholesome, bodily and verbal actions. So we have three mental actions. Number one, covetousness, abhidhamma. Number two, ill, vyapara. Number three, wrong view, deity. So these are three mental actions, right? In other words, according to Dhamma, we can say that wicked mind, right? Wicked mind, unwholesome mind, bad mind, right? So these three are the mental actions, manokarma, generally occurring through the door of the mind, right? Through the door of the mind. Actually, they arise in the mind without bodily or vocal intimation. You are not showing with the body, you are not showing with the vocal, just in the mind, right? Covetousness, just in the mind. Ill will, wrong view, just in the mind, right? So these are wicked mind. So if you are doing, if you are speaking, if you are acting based on those wicked mind, suffering will follow, right? Suffering will follow. You have a lot of sufferings. The reason because of this one, right? Number one, covetousness. So this is according to the Sutta, right? I just copy from the Sutta. And the Buddha said here, someone is full of longing. He longs for the way and property of others. He longs for the way and property of others. That's, oh, may what belongs to another be mine. Right? Be mine. May this house be mine. Right? May this person be mine. Like this, right? So, which is not belong to you, but you have longing for that, right? Longing for that. Suppose you are walking in a company, you are not deserved to have that post, right? But you have a longing. May this post, right? This post be mine. So if you have such covetousness, such longing, you will speak, you will act, right? Toward that post. So your action, your speech depends on the mind, based on the mind. First depends on the mind. So that is called mental unwholesome actions, right? Mental unwholesome actions. Here it is very important to know that you can long for your own property. You can expect, you can desire for your own property. It doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter. But if you want to go advanced practice, just like to attain jhana, to attain nibbana, even your own property, if you have a expectation, desire, attachment, it matters, right? But in normal daily life, if you have attachment, if you crave for your own property, nothing wrong. You love your children, you love your husband, your wife, your family, your house, you like your house, you like your car, you love your job. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, right? You're not breaking this one. But this one is longing for the property of other, right? Property of other. Here, the property doesn't mean not only the world, but also everything, right? So you get married, but if you have a longing for another one, another person, right? Another person, that is covetousness. If you love, if you crave, and if you like your partner, it doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter. Stay okay, stay okay. But outside your marriage, so you crave for somebody, and you let somebody that is longing for the property of others, right? Property of others. So I think that is called covetousness. So actually, the dictionary gives the definition of covetousness as a wanting to have something too much, especially something that belongs to someone else, right? Someone else. Suppose you do not deserve how to say political post, just like a prime minister post, right? Prime minister post. But you long for it, but you don't deserve it, right? If you have covetousness for primary post, you will use any method, right? You will speak, you will act any method. In earlier time, even the K, right? The K, they are opposite parties. So everything comes from the mind. Mind is very important, right? For that reason, so we have to practice to have a pure mind, right? Pure mind. If we are acting, if we are speaking with a pure mind, then happiness will follow. If you have a lot of longing for the property of others, suffering will follow, right? Suffering will follow. Covetousness is indecent or unrighteous greed. Unrighteous greed, which crave for the property of other people. Here, the property means wealth, possession, popularity, as well, right? Some people want to become popular. They will use every method, whether it's righteous or unrighteous. They will use every method, every tactic, right? It is called covetousness. Pali, we call it Vīthimutta loba. You know loba. Actually, if we look at from the Nibbana point of view, every loba is not good. But if you have a loba to your own property, right? Thing that you belong to, it's okay. It is called samma loba. I think it's good to understand this word. Actually, samma is a event. Vīthimutta. Not even. Even or without T or T. We mean, how to say, very, not even me, uneven. Bumpy road. Huh? How you say in English? Event, right? Not event, right? Literal meaning of samma is the event. Or, how to say, the samma weather. Weather is very stable. Vīthimutta weather me, the weather is all the time changing, right? All the time changing like this. So actually, we can translate as the righteous and unrighteous. Here, samma means righteous. Vīthimutta means unrighteous. So if you have a craving and attachment to your own property, it is called righteous greed. Normal daily life, right? Normal daily life. But if you are longing for the property of others, which not belong to you, so that is called unrighteous or Vīthimutta, right? Vīthimutta. Vīthimutta greed or Vīthimutta lobha. It is a famous term in Buddhism. Vīthimutta lobha. And you can have attachment and craving to your own property. But if you long for the property of other people, it became Vīthimutta lobha, right? Unrighteous greed. Indecent, right? Indecent greed, which crave for the property of other people, right? So there are two factors to complete a full course of Abhidhamma. Number one, being the property of other people. So that means if you have craving to the property of other people, right? If you crave for your own property, doesn't matter, right? Stay acceptable. Number two, longing it for oneself. So you long for yourself, right? So if you complete all these two, it became a full course of Abhidhamma, right? So this is what the book said. This one, right? Page number 207. Even though greed arises for another's property, it does not become a full course of action unless one gives right to the wish to take possession of that property. You saw a house, right? That belongs to another person, but you like it. You like it. It is unrighteous, right? Unrighteous. But you have desire to take that possession, right? That house, right? So that became Abhidhamma, or longing, right? Longing, covetousness. The different degree of unwholesome actions, right? Different degree of unwholesome actions. Question? No question, right? Abstinence from covetousness. Here someone is without longing. He does not long for the wealth and the property of others. That's, oh, may what belong to another be mine, right? There's no such longing, right? No such longing. It's the abstinence. Abstinence from. Another one is ewe. Vyapara. Ewe. Vyapara. As you all know that if we have a covetousness, Abhidhamma, so we are likely to commit stealing, right? Stealing. So this one belongs to another person. Then I have a longing, right? If it became mine, I'm very happy, right? That's a covetousness. Then that mind, right? State of mind, negative mind, is the seat of stealing, right? I will steal it, right? I will steal it. Therefore, mind is forerunner of everything. The second one is ewe. He has a mind of ewe, an intention of hate. Thus, may these beings be slain, slaughtered, cut off, destroyed, or annihilated. That is a strong desire to kill sentient beings, right? To kill sentient beings. So that is called ewe. So according to this one, if you have a negative mental state toward yourself, right? It's not a ewe here, right? It's not a ewe here. But of course, it is another type of ewe, according to the Eightfold Noble Path, right? Eightfold Noble Path. I think in a solar study class, I will teach a different degree of defilements, right? This one toward other people, right? But the A way in the Noble Eightfold Path, not only A way toward other people, but also toward the weather, the places, even toward yourself, right? So different degree of unwholesome actions, right? Unwholesome mind, right? Unwholesome mind. So now you when it is raining, right? If raining cuts in door, you feel irritated, right? You cannot come to the classes, you feel irritated, right? That's the type of A way toward the rain, right? The weather. But according to here, according to this one, so anger or irritation toward the weather is not included. Only other people, right? A different degree. But in the Noble Eightfold Path, there is also A way, right? The opposite of Abhidhamma is A way. A way here means not only toward another people, but also everything, right? Including oneself, right? Including oneself. So we have to know the degree of unwholesome actions, right? A way is hatred, dosa, and desire to harm others. Covetousness is a lobha, right? But here is a dosa. There are two factors to complete a full course of action. Number one, being another sentient being, right? Another sentient being, not toward yourself, not the weather, not the place, right? Not the place, not the object, right? The thought of harming is sentient being, right? So it became the full course of action, the full course of A-way, right? Must be a sentient being. See, the opposite of A-way is he is of good way, right? And his intention are free of hate. Thus, may these beings live happily, free from enmity, free from affliction, and free from anxiety, right? Very beautiful, very good way, right? Very good way. That is what we call loving kindness, right? What we call compassion. So, when we have a compassion and loving kindness toward other people, right? And we will act and we will speak with a pure mind, and happiness will follow. So if we are speaking and acting with the wicked mind, right? With the wicked mind, sufferings will follow. Sufferings will follow. For that reason, Chaitena Niyati Loko, mind create the world. The same place, the same house, the same environment. Some are happy, some are not. Some are smiling, some are frowning. Mind, depends on the mind, right? So even ourselves, right? Sometimes we are happy, sometimes not. The same environment, the same place, depends on the mind, right? So if we have a pure mind, a positive mind, I think happiness will follow, right? Happiness will follow. Question? Any question? No question, right? Okay, let's call it a day. Yo vadatam bhavarom anu jesu sakya muni bhagavata kecho paragato pala viriya samandi tam sukatam saranathamupemi ragavi ragamani jamasokan dhammama sangata mapatikulan marurami mampaku tang Dhamma mimam saranathamupeni Yatha chadi nama apalamahu Sattu su si su purisayugesu Atacha Pokala Dhammadasati Sangami Mansara Nathamupemi Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay, thank you so much.